In the last video I took a look at the top 10 English teams to manage in career mode, and the response to that video has been largely very positive, so I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone that showed their support on that one. A few of you did seem slightly disappointed that I didn't cover any of the major players though, so that's something that I'm going to be looking to address today. Sometimes a challenge can be great, but it can also be pretty pleasing to dominate teams right from the first season. So if you're wanting to smash teams left, right and centre, competing for multiple trophies in the process, today's video should serve you well on that, as I take a look at some of the biggest names in world football. They're not necessarily the 10 highest rated teams in the game, but if you do like managing big teams, then in my opinion, all 10 of these teams should be a lot of fun to manage in the game. I've taken charge of a few of them on this channel in the past, and I'll have plenty more career mode videos coming at you in the not too distant future. So if you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure you smash that subscribe button right now, and if you do go on to enjoy this video, leave it a like too. Let's kick things off then with Spanish giants Real Madrid. It's been a bit of a summer of change for them, with the likes of Danilo, James, Morata and Pepe all leaving. They're still a supremely strong team though, and they've got a lot of talent and promise for the future. Marco Asensio has got off to such an incredible start to the season, and it's crazy to think that he only cost about €4 million a few years back. He's one of many rising talents at the club, and if you take charge of Real Madrid in the game, short-term success is pretty much guaranteed, as well as long-term domination as the prospects blossom and become better every season. Barcelona meanwhile aren't too bad themselves. They may have lost Neymar to PSG in the summer, but they did replace him with an absolute career mode beast in the form of Dembele, so it's definitely not all doom and gloom for them. Nelson Semedo was a solid signing too, and although there are certainly a fair share of older players at the club that will need replacing within the first few seasons, there are still a good number of younger talents to nurture and develop. And then of course you've got the more established players like Messi and Suarez. Messi is always an absolute delight to utilise in the game, Suarez will no doubt smash in goals for fun, and the 5-star skills and weak foot of Dembele should serve you very well as you look to dominate and destroy teams as the Catalan club. Liverpool may have held firm on their refusal to let go of Coutinho in reality, but in career mode the world is your oyster and you can do as you please. The Brazilian can be brought in, or maybe even Paulo Dybala. Barcelona were linked with numerous incredibly talented footballers in the summer, and the beauty of managing one of the big teams I'm talking about today is that with the kind of money they've got available, you're pretty much able to sign up any player in world football. Following on from Barcelona then, I guess that now's as good a time as any to talk about PSG and the crazy business that they managed to get sorted in the summer. Signing up Neymar from Barcelona was a pretty massive signal of intent from them, and moving in Mbappe from Monaco wasn't exactly a bad move either. Sadly Sergio Aurier left to join Spurs, so that's one incredible career mode player that you won't have at your disposal. They did sign Dani Alves though, so he's not exactly a bad right back anyway. The number of attacking players that PSG have got is just absolutely ridiculous. With the likes of Neymar, Mbappe, Cavani and Di Maria in the team, you should be scoring goals galore. Draxler, Lucas and Ben Arfa aren't exactly bad either. With PSG you could pretty much field an entire team of exciting attacking players, and smashing teams in European action should be incredibly satisfying. With the teams on this list, the focus is very much on playing exciting football with the best players in the game. Most domestic matches probably won't be all that difficult. You should be able to score a lot of goals though, and be a serious threat in the Champions League. The club have shown this summer that anything's possible for them moving forwards, and with Lionel Messi's contract due to expire next summer, maybe you could even make the Argentinian ace your next major signing. And with 5 English teams in the Champions League group stage this season, it's an exciting time to be a fan of English football, and Manchester United could well be the pick of the bunch, both in the game and potentially in real life too. They got the perfect mix of strength and pace in the squad, a good mix of exciting young talents and established professionals, and quite honestly, you should be able to create absolute carnage with this Manchester United team, even if you don't really sign anyone. Pogba is always an absolute monster, Lukaku should score goals for fun, and under your careful management, players like Martial and Rashford will no doubt develop into absolute world beaters. Taking charge of United, you can look to build upon last season's Europa League success and return the team to Champions League glory. It's been 6 years now since Manchester United last reached the Champions League final, 9 years since they last won it, A decade on from that massive win over Chelsea in Moscow though, it's very possible that you could once again lift the trophy with the Red Devils. United have started the season in absolute red hot form in reality, and as a career mode team, they're looking absolutely phenomenal. Liverpool meanwhile should be a lot of fun to use too. Very top heavy, but that's easily remedied with a couple of decent defensive signings. And maybe you could even look to finally push through that Van Dijk transfer from Southampton that never quite happened. Keeping Coutinho this summer was big, and with the likes of Mane and Salah in the squad, there are definitely plenty of dangerous and explosive players in this team that can cause serious damage. Players like Oxlade-Chamberlain and Solanke could do bits from the bench, and there are plenty of very good youth prospects to bring through and develop too. In real life, there are questions to be asked over whether or not Liverpool can finish in the top 4, especially now that they've got the added pressures of competing in European action. That 4-0 demolition of Arsenal demonstrated that they'll be a very tough team to beat on their day though, and throughout the course of the season, they should pick up plenty of big results and play some very exciting football. Will it be enough though? We'll just have to wait and see. Their defensive frailty could cost them I feel, but their attacking flair should be deadly, both in game and in reality. And the final English team in the list is Manchester City. They would have been especially deadly in attack if they pulled off that transfer deadline day move for Sanchez. And if I was managing City in the game, that'd definitely be my first signing. Whilst they didn't quite manage to pull off the signing of Sanchez though, they did still spend big in the summer, signing up the likes of Benjamin Mendy, Kyle Walker and Bernardo Silva. Ederson could prove to be a huge signing too. Claudio Bravo had a bit of a dodgy first season in the Premier League. The goalkeeper situation's been addressed though, and the club can now look to move forward. Chelsea cleared out a few really good career mode players in the summer, while Spurs, as a career mode team, doesn't really excite me either. With United, Liverpool and City though, all of them have got some serious pace and quality, especially United and City where you basically have exciting players in every single position. Kyle Walker is a ridiculous fullback in the game, as I'm sure anyone that's ever played Ultimate Team is well aware of. Kevin De Bruyne is an absolute magician, and you'll also have some of the highest potential youngsters as well, with the likes of Bernardo Silva, Leroy Sané and Gabriel Jesus. City cleared out a fair amount of deadwood in the summer, spent good money on some quality new signings, and they now look like a very fun team to use in FIFA 18 career mode. Moving on to my personal favourite Italian club now then, and we've got AC Milan. They sold on some of my former career mode favourites in the summer with the likes of Niang and De Sciglio moving on to pastures new. At the same time though, they were able to capture some incredible new players, including exciting youth players like Frank Kessie and Andre Silva. Bonucci was a big signing for them, as too was Ricardo Rodriguez, whilst Hakan Çalhanoğlu is a set-piece specialist that's always a lot of fun to use in the game. In addition to all of the major moves that they made in the summer though, maybe the biggest news of all was that they were able to keep hold of teenage sensation Gianluigi Donnarumma. Milan will compete in the Europa League this season, so they're the one team in this list where you won't be able to achieve absolute glory right from the off. Despite the fact that they're not competing in the elite European competition though, AC Milan is undeniably still an absolutely massive club, and with all of the signings that they've made this summer and their clear ambition to succeed at the top level again, this is a proud football club that looks to be attempting to return to glory in reality, and should be a massive amount of fun to manage in career mode too. Juventus also made the cut. They've won the Serie A title 6 years in a row now. Milan are obviously looking to catch them up with the business that they've been doing, but for a good few years now, Juventus have been the best team in Italy, and in fact one of the very best teams in Europe. They've made it to 2 of the last 3 Champions League finals. They lost both of them, but they have been to the finals. Juventus brought in the likes of De Sciglio, Matuidi and Douglas Costa in the summer, adding further depth and quality to what was already a very impressive career mode team. Paulo Dybala was my absolute favourite striker to use in FIFA 17. Higuain's an absolute beast, and although the likes of Bonucci and Dani Alves moved on in the summer, Juventus still look like a great pick for career mode once again. And if you do choose to take charge of the Italian giants, you can look to build upon their recent success and take them to even greater glory. Heading over to Germany now then, and we've got a club that lost a career mode favourite recently with Dembele departing to join Barcelona, who are of course also in this list. Yarmolenko's back in the game though for the first time since FIFA 10, and that's a name that you should know pretty well if you play Football Manager. For years now I've been signing up the Ukrainian in FM, and year after year he continues to do absolute bits for me. The likes of Royce, Aubameyang and Pulisic are still at the club too of course, and Jadon Sancho should be an interesting one too. A player that's just been handed the number 7 shirt after transferring across to Germany from Man City. Finally then, Bayern have won the Bundesliga title for 5 years in a row now, and having really enjoyed managing them in FIFA 16, I just had to include them in this video today. They signed up Tolisso from Lyon in the summer, Sula from Hoffenheim, and they even snapped up James Rodriguez on a 2-year loan deal from Real Madrid. Their squad was already pretty stacked, and it's just become even better. Despite the positives though, players like Robben and Ribery aren't exactly getting any younger. Vidal hit 30 quite recently, and even star striker Robert Lewandowski will turn 30 at the start of the second season. In my opinion though, the fact that some of their star players are getting on a bit is genuinely a positive, as there's a natural progression to follow as you look to bring through the next generation and take the team forwards. With Manchester United for example, you could probably make no signings whatsoever and still dominate teams for the best part of a decade, whilst with Bayern, players will fall from grace quite quickly, and you'll need to make the team more your own in order to keep them at the very top. They're a cracking career mode team in the present, but there's also solid potential to get long-term enjoyment out of the save too, rebuilding, redeveloping, and making them a fantastic force for the future. So there you have it then. In my opinion, those are 10 very good big teams to manage in FIFA 18 career mode. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below though. Who are you most looking forward to managing? And what did you think of my list? Anyway though, thanks for watching, have an awesome day, and I'll catch you again next time.